Hi guys,
Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's
welcome
up?
back to our channel.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And if you're new here, my name is Didi. This is my handsome husband.
My name is Amon. Thank you guys for joining us so much.
Thank you so much for the continued support, the love. You guys are too much. But yeah, so we're back with one of these like sit down videos. We like jotted some ideas down, so like we're going to be reading. But basically, today we're talking about navigating in-laws. How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, in-laws are a very interesting topic because, like, they are family, right? And for me, I mean, it's been inheriting them, understanding them. First of all, it's like people you need to understand as if they've known you for so many years, but you're starting a new relationship. So it's very interesting to actually go deep into that discussion and talk about, how to actually navigate through it.
And then not everybody is like, blessed with such an easy process.
Yes, yes.
So we're just going to talk about our experience. We have a couple of things, and I'm just going to be looking around down when I'm reading. So the first thing we're going to talk about is like the first time we met each other's parents. Was there anything surprising, or was there anything weird? Do you want to start, or should I start?
Was there anything weird when we met, like each other's parents?
Yeah, like when you met my parents. Right?
First of all, who met whose parents first? Maybe there's a person that needs to start.
I did.
Okay.
I met Amon's parents first because I was in South Africa, my parents in Nigeria, right? And obviously I'm here, my husband is in South Africa, his family is here, so I met his parents first. I met Amon's mom first. We met at church. We had a church conference, and Amon's sister was there, whom I had already met. And then Amon's mom
came. This is
came.
like Dream Week, no?
No, she.
Oh, she.
Happy Dream Week. Dream Week, yeah, Dream Week.
Okay.
So Amon's mom came. We met at the lobby, the lobby of the church, and she really embraced me. So she was like, and she embraced me. She kissed me on my mouth. If anybody knows me, I don't like that. So anyway, I just had to like maintain. It was really nice. And then I think a couple of weeks later, Amon took me home, and then I met his mom and his dad. And I greeted them like where I'm from. Like when you greet, you like you like curtsy. I mean, you go down like you kind of like bend like it's like you're showing your respect. So I would say curtsy. So I greeted him with a curtsy. Then he hugged me. It was great. Yeah.
What was the feeling that you got?
I felt the first time I met Amon's parents, I really felt accepted. I felt like he could even leave me and go. You get it? Like, I felt like, even though like the language was a bit of a barrier, but I felt like, and they really accommodated me. And my husband's parents, they really tried. They really accommodate me, like with English. They would even say, no, he doesn't hear what you're saying, speak in English, But like I'm also catching on real quick with the language.
And that's very tricky because when I go home, like you want to just be speaking fast.
Yes.
We've grown to be a bit conscious.
Yes, they're very aware. Like no, he doesn't understand. Even from like maybe to visit with a family member, they would be like, no, his mom doesn't understand, so don't speak. Let's include everybody. Very, very inclusive. I felt. I can be here.
So you're stealing my parents from me.
Of course. Okay, for you, how was it? Do you remember when who you met first?
I think I met your dad first. Yeah, I met your dad first.
Without me, I was not there.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
I was in a totally different city.
Oh, and but I mean, obviously she, orchestrated the arrangement. First of all, I think there was something that I had to organize for Popsy first.
Yeah, and also, sorry to cut you, babe. If you have a Nigerian parents, you know that Daddy, I think when you're doing a business, my boyfriend can take you around. He say, oh, your friend. You cancel boyfriend or your friend. I will go with your friend. Oh, where is your friend? Give me your friend's number. I say, my boyfriend. Okay, but continue.
Even if I had a daughter, you don't call that your
My
boyfriend
papa said,
until
"Now
I
my
approve.
friend."
I have to meet the guy first. Oh,
Exactly.
once I morning, I go first.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we arranged something like that, and so he came through. But when he had to go back to Nigeria, so he had come through for some business, and
Yes.
then so coming in, I think yeah,
Did you not come for like less than a week?
he came for less than a week.
Maybe like a night actually.
Mm.
Yeah, for just a meeting. Yeah.
So this meeting for me was so important that I think what I did on the day, it was we had a wedding. Go ahead. So my brother was getting married, so I decided, everything was working out nicely. I think it was even in the afternoon, so the wedding was going well. So I spoke to my dad and I said, "Pa, I have to go." And he said, "Are you going? We're in the middle of the wedding." And I said, "This is my first time I'm meeting Didi's dad." Like, I just only had to say, then he was like, "Go, bruh." Then it was time I told everybody, and they were like, "Yo, good luck." I don't, you know what? I don't think I needed luck, because when I met your dad, I thought he was cool, bro.
He was cool.
We spoke the whole road from, where I picked him up to the first place he had to go to the airport.
I actually think, should I insert a picture of you guys?
Yeah,
maybe if we have it.
Of the day. Do we have it?
I think if I have it, I'll insert it.
Yeah, that would be nice, so that you guys can see the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very inspirational also, because I think when we were talking, and the places we were going to, like, it was purely for business for him, and I got to
They even got lost.
Yeah, we even got lost. We will talk about that just now. But in overall, like, the overall feeling that I got was, I understood that your dad is a rigid person, and at that point, this is before his daughter made the decision to be with this guy officially, like us getting married. So the filtering process, I didn't expect to meet someone that's soft and easy with you, especially because I'm looking at you, the way you brought up, the way I relate to you shows me the kind of input that has been put into your life. So when I was speaking to him, I was really just watching to see certain things, and to confirm my suspicions. He's a very strict person, straightforward to the point. Listens to everything when you talk. Very attentive and very smart. And yeah, we had a good drive. We aligned very much. That's the day I got his number. To this day, we still talk. So an amazing relationship there. And then when did I meet Momsi?
Momsi closer to the wedding.
Closer to the wedding.
Yeah, as we
yes, and then he came through. She came through to South Africa. Yeah, man. With Momsi, it was because we were also preparing for certain things at the time. It was, I'm so happy to meet you. I wish we would have spent a little bit of time together before the time. But it was what it was.
How was it?
Amazing.
Okay.
It was
so
amazing.
You guys spoke on phone before?
Yeah, we spoke. So the first time I spoke to Didi's mom, to Momsi, I spoke to her and I thought it was Didi.
Yeah, my mom and I sound so much alike. It's just that my own voice is fresher, younger, sexier. I am Promex.
Yeah, so she is very softly spoken, very intentional. Also, like, she doesn't like hanging things. So when I met with her, I understood, like, that's how she addresses your brothers, because that's how she addressed me. Like, I already understood, her expectations, how she, wants her environment to be treated, and So she's a lovely person overall, an amazing advice giver, an amazing person who has a very good heart and loves people. Like, she wants to be serving.
Oh gosh, she
if
loves
I'm sitting
people.
anywhere, she would just be coming to me and say, "Do you want anything?" And then sit.
And she's really a server. Like,
she
really wants to serve people. Okay, we are somewhere. We are inside party. My mama go dey clean. Go dey wash plates. Go dey sweep. As in, sit down. Like when we did Amon's surprise party, she was mopping the toilet. We were at a venue. This toilet is so dirty. I think it started to rain, or something. This toilet is dirty. She was mopping the toilet. Washing plates. Mommy, sit down. Oh my, can't rest. She can't rest. But yeah.
So yeah, that's what's up. Our parents are amazing.
Our parents are amazing. There's a very between our parents, there's language barrier, but they can talk. Do you know that when when we had our wedding, my dad went to Nigeria first, then my mom went. So my mother-in-law came to our place. So it was my mother-in-law and my mom. She came to see off my mom. Like, my mom and my mother-in-law were in the guest room laughing, as in.
We're not sure even what they were talking about.
They were laughing like the whole night. In the morning, they say, oh, we didn't sleep. And they call each other mama. They say, oh, mama. I didn't sleep. Oh, mama.
And we're like, what were they talking
about? What are these people talking about? Like,
and then with my dad and Popsy, with our dads, what happens there is
we don't even.
They'll be just be sitting in the corner silently together.
Just together.
They will talk here and there.
Yeah.
Here and there, but they don't want to leave. Like if they're next to each other, you will not separate them. But I find it interesting because my dad is like
very
the quiet
type.
No, like my dad is very quiet.
Yeah, like and he's also soft spoken.
Yeah, and he's soft spoken as well.
Yeah.
And Popsy has energy.
Yeah.
And
But I like that they adjust to each other.
Yeah, when they sit, you can see that the energies are adjusted. So
They're levels. My father would say, that's my father would say, very nice man. Oh, Davy. I was like, okay. Well, that's that. Okay, let me open the next one.
But yeah, man, they also love each other. I think that's really one thing that we thank God for. You can the family that chooses each other and actually has love for each other. Like that's a blessing. It's just great. We can't choose that, so we thank God for it.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, the next one is titles and respect. Sort of like, how do you address my parents? What do you call my parents? And then what do I call your parents?
Yeah. So this is a trick. Should I start?
Yeah, you can start.
I always thought that it was gonna be easy for me to call my wife's father, Papa, and my wife's mother, Mama.
I actually thought I would never be able to do it.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be easy for me because, like, even some of my aunts I call them Mama, some of my uncles, So I wanted to do that. I guess it hit me, and then sometimes when you're talking to them, you want to be you want to be aware of the things you say to a point that you forget to do it sometimes, And then that was earlier. Yeah. Now it's easier. Like I call Popsy, and I try with all of my heart. I'm sure you've seen how I've been trying to not say your dad or my mom. You know,
and that's also how we differentiate them.
Yeah. So that we don't. When I say Popsy, she knows I'm talking about
my father.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I say Momsy, I'm talking about
it's my mother.
Yes. Yeah. And when we say Mama
is
Mama, and then Papa is Papa, because that's what we call them.
That's what we call them.
And you also call Popsy.
Yeah.
So I just call them my new parents or my adopted parents. What?
They're not adopted. They're your new parents.
Okay, my new parents. Yes. The wording is tricky, but my new parents, I call them what she calls them, and then she calls my parents what I call them. So that's the easiest thing.
That's the easiest thing. And they actually, I think they register that because I call my parents like mommy and daddy, or we call them momsy, popsy. So Amon refers to my parents as momsy and popsy. Then I refer to Amon's parents as mama and papa because that's what he calls his parents. And then there was one time our moms were together. I was trying to address my birth mother. I was like, mommy. And then both of them were like, yeah. After okay. Who are smart? You're smart ladies. But yeah, that was nice. Okay, I want to flow. I don't want to make it long. Short and sweet. Yeah. Okay. Any cultural expectations? So, were there anything that you saw that maybe these my in-laws, they're Nigerian? Was there a sort of way that maybe your family viewed Nigerians? And in the same way, the way my family viewed South Africans. Yeah.
Listen, man, there's stereotypes, right? Everywhere. And I'm gonna say this because again, it's not a choice. Yeah. This is my family that I didn't choose, but somehow they are that type of blessing. And I thank God for it, because what I'm about to say is going to sound too good to be true, but it is true. The people that know us know that it's true, My parents do not look at people for example, stereotypes, or when they meet people, they really relate with them.
Face value. At face value,
yeah. So, for example, I'm going to take it a bit further down. When we met, and my parents didn't know that you are Nigerian at the time. Yeah. I didn't feel the need to tell them immediately. Right? They would see on pictures, and my mom would be, oh, I like the this one. I like the place, yo. Why don't you bring her home? And I was like, no, I'll bring her. But we would talk, and she would ask me things about you, and we would obviously I would update her on the things that we are doing, what God is doing for us, and so forth. But I never needed to mention that you were Nigerian, and when the time came, I I think my mom was like, she's Nigerian. And I was like, she was like, oh, Mwanaka. Like she was like, oh,
so excited.
you don't look at people, and so that's the type of parents that I have.
Yeah.
And my dad, my dad,
Yeah.
like Papa,
Very
like
accepting, very
you know what I'm
loving.
trying to say.
Yeah,
So,
both of them.
when it comes to my parents and myself having that discussion, I will not lie to you, not even once did we have it.
Yeah.
I think when we were doing lobola negotiations, there were specific questions to this topic. For example, like what are we dealing with in terms of cultural exchanges?
Yes.
There are obviously certain things that your culture would require. There are certain things that our culture requires because of the demographic. Obviously, there might be clashes. Let us iron those out first, so that when it happens, it's like it just flows. So yeah, man. I think they have been but they've been very also intrigued by the things that happened, through the rollout of, us planning things together as two families, the weddings, the things that we request from each other. It's been interesting. The attires, the complexity of those, the cultural, like it's just been a mashup of two cultures, and for my parents, it's an experience. Because again, my dad is an uncle.
Yeah.
So he's been to so many weddings, have been into many bargaining negotiations as well.
And we are both like our parents' firstborn.
Exactly.
So it was really like
yes.
Yeah.
So for them to have this experience, I feel like it was a thing of wow. It was a new thing, and it was a beautiful thing. So if anything, they really commend your Uneme culture. And man. And obviously the two, right? Uneme and your mother's culture as well. So both, they have been embracing it. Mom's culture. See, there I go again saying your mother. All right.
But like for me, obviously for me it was not the same. My friends were like, since when? When did that happen? Why South Africa?
But why?
It's obviously because of the kind of things they hear and see, like on media, news, that kind of thing. Like, are you really safe there? Is that what you really want for yourself? Because actually, after university, I studied here. The plan was go to Nigeria, do my NISC, and then maybe sort of like move abroad from there. And obviously,
abroad.
Yeah, that was the plan. And obviously,
you wanted to kill me.
I was not coming back home. I was not coming back. I had to do my NIC. You know this.
I was gonna fetch you.
But like, just like your parents, just how or any parent would be concerned. Like, is that really the choice you want, whatever? I think it took them a lot of convincing. My parents were really not in it, And I think until they got to meet Eamon themselves, until they got to meet your family and all, and then they were like, oh, okay, wow, this is great. But I think never did they ever show you that they were not in it. I think my dad, my dad had to ask me, like, is this what you want? Like, how do you feel about this? How does this man treat you? He asked me a lot of questions. Even my mom, like, are you sure? Is this okay for you? They had to sit me down and talk to me about, like, this is going to be different. This is not like how we are. But and then, if I'm in South Africa, of course I'll meet a South African man. Chances are I'll meet a South African man. So yeah.
But can I ask you
they
something?
Had to.
Do you think there could have been something that happened earlier
As
that
in?
they either saw or heard about that could have maybe made them think this way of me before they met?
Of course it was.
I wanted to talk about that.
I don't really want to get into that.
No, it doesn't have to be too detailed, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's a reality that because when we say that Momsi and Popsi didn't really approve,
it was not because of like okay.
At face value, without the things that happened earlier in our relationship, maybe there could have been a chance of we consider this guy without
True.
I don't know, maybe what happened. Then what happened we will tell you, maybe not now. I don't know if you want to talk about it now,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
no. But like,
So there's something that happened,
and
controversy.
it's not even a bad thing. Though. It's not like it was just like a misunderstanding, I guess.
Yeah.
But like,
And it's
yeah.
with someone we love. She's very
Yeah.
good to us.
Yeah.
We've grown to have a very good relationship.
Not we've grown. I've always had that's like my heart. If you know me, I talk to that person every day.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but like it basically had to do like with me. If you met our how to meet video, you know that I met.
How could I be?
Huh. How we met. Our how we met video. You know that like we met via Emma was working in my system, and that's how we met. And then we started talking, and she was very unhappy. Like I started being with Emma without my sister's knowledge. Already I broke her trust, you know. So she told my parents that she sees some people from my workplace. So my parents will be thinking, is this man 50 years man? You know, like
yeah, but sure.
The kind of like picture they had. But that was But also besides that, like South Africans, like really are they really kind people? We see so much news about them. Is that how they are? Blah 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 blah. Like, hey, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. But yeah, they absolutely love him.
Now they're my favorite by now. I think they are my parents, and then they're my parents, and my parents are yours.
Of course, yeah. Because if I just we'll get there. Okay. The next one. Okay. God, where was I? Okay, building relationships. Like, what are things that have helped you to build like your own out of me, your own relationship with my parents? You know, how did you do it intentionally? Were you intentional about it? You know what I mean?
So, first of all, I'll be very honest, right? I would like these relationships to be better, but with what I have and what we've been doing is every single person is their own person, and every single person exists, apart from everything. Like they're their own person. So to relate to a person, you need to just speak to them directly and understand the type of person that they are, what they like, hear them out, and so forth. So I've been having discussions with Momsi that don't include you. Okay? And it was just about what we were talking about, just trying to understand each other, how do we do things and so forth. Once in a while with Popsy, actually, guys, men don't talk a lot, but whenever I get a chance to talk to Popsy, it's always like a very good discussion. We usually touch business, we usually touch livelihood, we usually touch, we do the whole 360 of it. And in all of it, the role of a father and the role of a mother still maintains that. So, I approach them with respect. We have very open minds. So when you speak, it's always interesting. But it has been good with Popsy. It has been so good with Momsy. And yeah, man, we have that channel. And there's this thing. I don't know if we're gonna get to it, but I like the fact that if there's anything that, for example, Momsi would want, or anyone would want, they would sort of like talk to me about it, and check with me, and then I'll be like, okay, we need to, So I think that's also important to have that type of relationship with our parents, So yeah, they're my parents. I honor them and I respect them. At the end of the day, I don't think the same way I do with my mom and dad. My mom knows if she's struggling to win a conversation with me, which she never does struggle, but if she feels she will, she includes my dad. He knows. She's done some things before where there was an intervention and then I got seated down because she knows. Authority and submission is key. Our parents need to be honored, and I honor my own. I honor hers as well. So when we are sat down and we talk about things, made a mistake, but no, you think you did or you didn't, there's certain things that you just have to submit under. So yeah, that's how I see these four amazing individuals.
Yeah. Well, we're actually talking about your in-laws, so not the four of them. Your in-laws.
I'm just saying, the respect I have for my parents is just bestowed upon them. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's what's the question?
What's the name? So
how like we're
your
being like
your
how
in-law
intentional are we
uh, with
with like developing and building relationship
that
with our
relationship.
okay yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes,
for
yes.
me, I think it's been when like before I got married, like I'd obviously have like talks with my mom, like maybe like some older cousins and whatever that I'm marrying and whatever, and they would be like, you know, this is like the family you're marrying into, you're getting married into, so this is like your new home. You should feel like a child there. Feel like these are your parents, how you would be at home. And I would say your parents have made it easy, you know. If anybody knows me, they know like I'm not really the most I don't use the word accommodating, but like I don't just allow people in my space. And even if I have to be in your space, maybe because we're related, like that doesn't mean we're going to be in the same space. I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm very particular about people I keep around me because I'm very I take note of how people treat people. I don't like unkind people, people that just talk anyhow to one another, that kind of thing. So I'm very, very, very specific about people I keep around me. And like when it comes
That's
to
true.
yeah, like with my mother-in-law, I think the relationship has really like it's been easy, it hasn't been tough. I mean, even with my own mom, it's not easy, right? So it has not been like tough. They've made it easy for me. Like I can tell Mama that, Mama, look at this or look at that or like there's things that like in marriage will shock you. See what Eamon did do, and then Eamon's parents will sit him down. You never treat Diddy that way.
Whistleblower.
What I'm saying is like they have my best interest at heart.
Sure.
I know that, and I can call Mama anytime. I can call Papa. Papa can call me and say, "Dee, how are you? How's work? Okay, Manaka." Mama can say, "Manaka, okay, are you okay? How is everything?" So yeah, your parents have made it easy for me to, to be able to talk to them. And like I said, knowing me, before I can even become talking to you, not small thing.
Yeah.
So your parents have made it very easy. Yeah.
Bo, no man.
Yeah, Mama and Papa, they are very on point. Okay, this one. Have there been any issues of like conflict or awkwardness? Right? Maybe tension, misunderstanding. How have you handled that? How have you handled disagreements? Let me say with your own parents, and then with mine.
Okay.
How's that been? Anything awkward? Any sort of conflicts?
Should I start?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so with my parents, thank God my dad has never hit me ever.
Lie.
No, he hasn't.
Why
Like,
hit you in that other time
yeah,
when he was small?
what he did that day, being hit is like, for example, but they hold you by this hand,
Oh,
and
like
then your
really?
ass gets beat, right? This one day, I'm gonna just tell you straightforward what happened. So this one day, I think we were watching a World Cup, ne? I was just small, and my dad said, "Go." I think my dad likes coffee.
Tea, not
Tea,
coffee.
yeah, he likes tea. Yeah, back then he loved coffee.
Oh, he liked coffee then. Okay.
So he wanted me to make him, I think, coffee or yeah, something like that, or tea, and then I had to go to the kitchen. So because I was also watching soccer, what you do. They'll say go get something. I did this, and he said, he said, stop right there. I'm not gonna send you anywhere else, and you do that. Never, never. Oh, and then I couldn't believe the approach. So I was still on that level, and he said, "Come on!" And then that's when he kicked in. And he said, "Somehow we later did it." And I went,
like, come on.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what he did. That's not hitting. He just said, "Go."
Okay, that was all. Yeah.
Sorry, my baby. But yeah, she did that, and then.
But baby,
he did that,
how
and then.
did you like conflict? That did not cause you to conflict.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, ne? That is as close to a conflict that I have ever had with my dad.
Okay.
Or a misunderstanding.
Yeah, even it's from like a kumbaya.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Family.
So this, just to bring it into that into context, this is my reality. It might sound too good to be true, but my dad is an amazing man. Like, this is someone I look up to that has changed, keeps on transforming my mind. Every time I think about his approach to things, I just become a little bit humble, a little bit more respecting to others. And if I use his mentality of how he approaches people, which I have all my life, I've seen how people accept you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he has been the type of a person. Conflicts between my mom and dad, me and my mom and dad, very minimal.
Yeah.
My mom, she really will just tell you something once and just let you deal with it. So, and again, I'm surrounded by, a very big family. My aunts and my uncles who, trust me, will not wait to get authority to address me. They will just talk to me straight and tell me what they feel. So I have been.
But Eamon is very confrontational. Let him not look like he's one of all those quiet people. Be honest.
No, sure. One of my uncles made a joke a while back. One of my uncles, and he said, obviously I have so many uncles, guys, so many uncles, like from I don't know how many
Maternal
different families.
side,
Yeah.
paternal side.
So and he came. He was joking, and he made a joke that about you being Nigerian, and I told him that's not how we joke. It has to change into not being a joke because this is a reality. So to change the mentality of everybody, because we know how people are, because of the stereotypes, we need to think a certain way. So that was not disrespect. It is to say I'm also an adult and there are things that need to be lined out properly. Yeah. So we do it with honor, with respect, obviously. And he said, I'm funny, I'm playing, after that. And he said, but you make a good point. So I have that type of relationship with my uncles as well, where we can talk and they talk to me as the nephew that I respect them and give them that honor. And yeah, we have that type of exchange. So that's with my parents, right?
So have you ever had conflict with my parents?
I think I have. I have
You
had
have?
a conflict with your parents.
Really?
Yeah, but it wasn't really a conflict.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
When?
The one time we had that situation.
What?
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember.
No, remember. So why I'm calling it a conflict is because your parents love you. So if something happens to you, whether we like it or not, they just want to get that to the root cause.
What
so
happened
that we
to
can.
me?
No, you and I had a quarrel.
Oh, yeah.
And then because she wasn't wanting to listen to me,
we had a quarrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we had a serious quarrel.
At that time, nobody was willing to listen to anyone.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, in that time when you see that everybody's just boiling and nobody's gonna listen to the other person and everybody thinks they are right.
Yeah.
The wisest thing for me was to take Mwanoaba to and take her to her house.
You went to drop me.
Yeah, where her parents are. Just go drop her there and then come home and then
early hours of the morning,
yeah,
bro.
because we fought and it was such a small thing, guys.
No, we didn't fight but like we were like voices allowed, say things that you cannot take back.
Yeah,
that kind
so
of argument,
it could have ended
I
into
forgot.
anything. You know what I'm trying to say? So what?
But like the thing is, without support from parents, that would have been it was so like nothing.
No, it was nothing.
And please, it's not nobody cheating at their go.
No, we don't.
No,
we don't do that.
It was just like a misunderstanding of how things are done, basically.
So yeah, I mean that how that worked for me. Like again, how I was brought up is we confront issues to understand the root causes and get the solutions.
Yeah.
Right. So the best way was to do that first of all, so that it doesn't get turned into something it's not. And then obviously the following morning,
my sister was not having it. My sister, no, they forgive. But anyway.
So I think that's what it was. And you saw how we resolved it, right?
Yeah.
That's how I was brought up. The following morning, follow up, go sit down and talk about what happened, talk about the root cause, talk about the solution, and talk about the preventative measures going forward. Yeah. So that is problem solving.
Yeah, problem solving 101.
Yeah, so I always carry those tools with me, but so that when we get to a point where I can't use my cunningness to solve problems, we go to that. And thank God for the word of God, because some of the things are just direct. When you are wrong, you must go and apologize.
You have to apologize, yeah.
Yeah, and then always give honor. So yeah, man, that was really anything. The one thing that I can remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What about you?
For me.
And to do it with your parents, right?
What with my parents, I'm like, yeah, I feel like, I honor my parents, I love my parents, but I also butt heads with my parents a lot. And I don't do it disrespectfully, but there are things that we don't agree, I think now that I'm married, I can talk boldly. Before I cannot. But like, even now that I'm married, I even have to hold myself. But you cannot blame your parents as well. They were raised in different generations. They have their own families they're from. Whatever, whatever. So there are so many things that I butt heads with my mom and dad a lot. We have conflicts. They offend me. I'm sure I offend them. So it's only normal for me to be offended by, or for them to, like, for me to offend my in-laws, or for them to offend me, what I would think. I mean, like I said, with my own parents, we disagree. So, of course, with my in-laws, I would disagree. There are things that I'll be like, I don't understand this, I don't understand that, So I think, coming from my kind of family, we're not really confrontational. It's sort of like what mom and dad say, that's it. Nobody really had a voice, And then now that I'm grown, I now have a voice. And my parents are giving me that platform, which has been strange. And I think sometimes they see it like, Adi's being a bit too much, or she's being a bit disrespectful. But I will never ever shout at them. I will talk to them, And going into, my Kitty family, there's some things like, I was like, I didn't like what this and that happened, or who said. And then when I meet them, I don't even have to maybe confront the way I would do it in my family, because they talk things out so easy. Like, Amos family is very confrontational. They talk about things, Also with the language barrier, there's one time Mama said something and I misinterpreted it. I didn't understand what she said. So I thought, what did she say? What was it? I don't even remember, but something like that. Another time was during wedding planning. We were talking about our traditional wedding. So, my in-laws were saying that, no, they need me to wear the Tswana cloth. So, I was saying that, for me, that's not something. And I think, again, people will misunderstand you. They will misinterpret your voice or your tone. But they didn't do that with me. Maybe I might have been a bit harsh. But I said, you know what, I'd like to wear my Nigerian clothes because I only get one wedding by God's grace. Just one. I want to wear what I want to wear. I don't want to have to wear the Tswana cloth because I'm entering a Tswana family. I'll now be Tswana, So allow me to showcase my Nigerian heritage, even when we are doing welcoming of bride in Marapiani. And no, Iman's family didn't really see that way, but they took that, they heard it. They didn't even fight with me. Okay, Manaka, we understand. Yeah, you can do that, it's fine. They really, they accepted it. So I think I'm talking too much. Basically, what I'm trying to say is...
I even forgot about this.
Oh, really? Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I butt heads with my parents, and we sorted out, and they always, our daughter, our girl, they would correct me from place of love if I'm wrong. And if they are wrong, they will always say, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I'm sorry. And that's the same way I have it with Aim's parents. They are actually, they even make it, you even feel embarrassed to even say this and that and that. If I have something, I'll say, Mama, do you know what? She'll say, oh, Manaka, I didn't know, I didn't understand, that kind of thing. So yeah, conflict is going to be there. We just have to be wise about it.
Yeah.
Cannot hold things against each other. Even my brothers, we fight. So who am I? Okay. I think this video is closing up. Or should we do part 2? Okay, no, we're actually at the end.
Nice.
So the last one is about unity as a couple, like you and I. How do we protect our marriage, like you and I, from external pressures? And then I think we can close off with giving anyone advice, like people that are in a cross-cultural marriage advice. So how do we protect our marriage from any sort of external pressure
Should I take one?
issue?
You take one?
Which one do you want to take?
The first, which one? What is the first one? How do we
protect our unity, our marriage, from pressures outside?
Okay, so first of all, that question is very vast. Pressures outside are what? So there's voices that come from the outside. There's judgments that will come from the outside, either coming through me to us or coming through you to us. There will be challenges that include, for example, people coming, for example, ladies coming to me doing certain things or wanting to do certain things, men coming to you doing certain things. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, every person is their own person. When they're standing there, people see a person. So it's easy for anybody to see you, for example, and think, wow, what a beautiful woman as a man. And for some, I don't know, I think ladies see me like that. Hopefully not, though. But
You
even
know they do, like, they're not being humble.
But my point is, so at the end of the day, the union we have, right, is centered around God.
Yeah.
So we trust Him to help us to make decisions that are good for us. But at the core of our hearts, we personally need to also have that type of relationship towards each other.
Yeah.
Which is a relationship of honesty. And the more real things we say among each other and the more real thing we believe for that we see manifesting, the more we continue to believe that it is how it should be. So it's things that we put into practice that help us to protect ourselves from the outside.
Yeah.
If you think there is something out there, you will find it because you will go looking for it. Yeah. There is nothing that's not out there. There's nothing that's not out there.
There's always something better than what you have.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the most important thing for me specifically, I'm going to just start with me, is that I concluded in my heart that I know that God is going to bring me a woman, right? I didn't have too many expectations, but I had the expectation of God delivering that woman to me. And when He did, I knew that it was her. From that moment on, I bestowed upon her head the mantle of beauty beyond measures, the mantle of sexiness beyond measures, the mantle of intelligence beyond measures. If, for example, I'm intentionally talking about this because for most men, there's a challenge. I have guy friends. I've seen so many things and heard so many things. The moment you allow your mind to wander into thinking there is something better in any form whatsoever, you will go find it. And that's what causes people to cheat. That's what causes people to do all these things. So, advice. Oh, yeah, we will get there, right? But so
how we protect ourselves as a unit.
Yes. From external. I think I have concluded that you are everything that I've always needed. Therefore, it has blocked my mind to having any possibilities of potentials. That has died with me. And because of that, I don't have the luxury of seeing anyone else as anything else but just a person that I have to relate with respect, love, understanding. Because sometimes God will use women to come and help you. And if you're a guy who is loose, I'm sorry to use that word, but you will even lose destiny helpers because the second thing you think when you see a woman is sex, or you know what I'm trying to say. So there are those are some of the external noise. There are things that people say to me, that they say to you. If you check our social media, there are so many good and hurtful things that come in from the people. How we stay away from that is that we cannot control people's minds, right? So family, not family, strangers, not strangers, everybody's entitled to their opinion. We hold at the core of our unity God, and with Him, it's easy to filter out what we should keep or not. Like the laws of the Bible are just straightforward, So yeah, we thank God for that wisdom, and that's exactly how we protect ourselves from the outside world.
I also want to add, like, as we're still talking about navigating in-laws, that both my parents and Eamon's parents allow us to do our family. They know that I am from Aruna family, he is from Weketi family, and the two have joined. But because we have now joined together, it does not mean that we're going to take on traditions, like family traditions of Aruna family or family traditions of Weketi family. We're going to sculpture our own family. We're going to sculpture our own traditions. And I like that they don't put too much mouth in what we do. If anything, they support us. They want to hear, oh, how are you guys doing this? How are you navigating us?
The only title we are losing on that is the issue of having babies. I don't know about it, but hey, parents, when it comes to having babies.
And I feel like they just want to see the baby like, oh, the baby's there. That's it. Because when the baby's here, the baby's for us.
Dropping soon.
Anyway, the last part of this video, just advice that we want to give. I would say,
you said to people that are also
navigating cross-cultural.
Yes.
I mean, you could be Zulu and Sotho. You could be wherever you're from,
Asian.
Asian and, Caucasian, whatsoever you are. The important thing is, number one, for me, is love.
Yeah.
And if you're a Christian, you know that God Himself is love. Love does not see any sort of color, does not see. And with love, obviously, it's going to come respect. When you love somebody, respect them. When you love somebody, you are kind to them. When you love somebody, do you understand? So the biggest thing is love. As long as there's love, everything else will fall into place. Short and sweet from me, baby. What do you have to say?
I agree with you. It's love.
Yeah.
But I have to say again, it's the intentionalness.
Of course.
Backing everything up. You know, you guys need to be sure that first of all you want this.
And you are ready.
Yeah.
Because shots are gonna be fired everywhere.
All the time. Except from the fact that any relationship has standard complications.
Of course.
You wake up with a bad breath, she will chop you.
Baby.
That's one thing. But seriously, there's a lot of things. One day is this, one day is this, 1 hour is this, 1 hour is that. People have separated for nothing out there. We have heard stories when we went for counseling. For very small things, people would separate. And you understand, you guys, people that follow us will understand this maybe or maybe not, but we will say it anyway because that's what we stand for. You need to understand that I come from a certain bloodline that carries in it a history of things, and blood carries history.
It does carry history.
So maybe in my bloodline there is a history of, for example, abuse, right? From my great
divorce,
or divorce,
all the generational,
or maybe wealth, Those things are things that are carried in the blood over to other generations. I don't know if you guys believe it or not. I don't know, but that's what we work with as a reality, So you must understand. Sometimes when those two bloodlines come in and spend time together, we are bringing challenges that we don't even know about sometimes. So our environment will be challenged by things that might even not want us to thrive together as a couple.
Yeah.
So it is important for us to be in unity when it comes to prayer, in unity when it comes to understanding. That way, when you know to the core of things that you love each other and you will do anything and nothing can separate you. Even if you see a woman with another man, immediately you know, oh my gosh, she wants to get out of that situation. That guy must be pestering her. For example, that's just an example. And if you see, for example, you will understand me and you will know, for example, and I will understand you. You will know when I'm frustrated and when to back off because you know what it might lead into. So I know about her, yeah. So
be intentional, know your person, understand your person. In fact, if it even means like think for them, think ahead for them, do it.
And that's before we talk about the multicultural dilemma.
This video will finish.
Yeah.
Let's finish it.
Okay. Thanks,
But
guys.
anyway, thanks, guys. My husband, they talk. Like, my husband is so passionate about things like this. And, but at the same time, we want to make this great for you guys. We want to make it enjoyable for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and
subscribe.
All right, guys. So tell us what you think about this video.
Yo, man, I enjoyed this video.
I also did. I really did.
I felt like you guys were here while we were talking.
Actually, yeah.
It was amazing.
It was really nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Yeah, drop in the comments the kind of videos that you guys would like to see as well. Guys, share it to your world. Share the video with your people, your friend, your colleague.
And it's okay to give your perspective as well in some of the things that you say. What do you think? Let's talk about it. We can't always be right. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
See you in the next one.